Hello Year 5 and welcome to your maths lesson. I do apologise, this is your maths lesson, unlike Thursday where I told you it was your reading lesson. I apologise, Miss Ashford had to tell me that you noticed if you were at school. So this is definitely a maths lesson before I confuse you. Now there's going to be no big task at the end of this lesson for you to do, but you are expected to have a go at doing the questions as we work through them on the PowerPoints, okay? So when I say pause the video and have a go, you need to be having a go at the questions on the PowerPoints, okay? So there's no big task at the end, but you need to do all the questions as we work our way through, okay? So first of all, let's have a go at warming up our brains. I definitely did not just give you the first answer. So pause the video, set yourself a 5-minute timer and have a go. Okay, well I gave you the answer to number 1, so the answer is 3. So we have to think, well, how do we get from 12 to 4? So we've got to divide it by 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3. Now work out 86 divided by 5. Now we know it's going to have a remainder, okay, because it doesn't end in a 5 or a 0. Okay, so it's 17, remainder 1. Work out the perimeter of the rectangle. Okay, well both sides are going to be 14 here and both sides are going to be 8. So if you multiply them twice and add them, it's going to give you 44 millimetres. Simple one here, add these numbers together is 1,244. Okay, so well done if you got those correct. If you made mistakes, go back and check them so that you know where it is that you went wrong. Now, if you did the time on here is 2 minutes to 10, okay? So this is actually going to be 9:58, okay? Or if you're going to be doing it in the 24-hour clock and it's the evening, it's going to be 21:58, okay? So well done if you got that correct as well. Right, let's warm your brains up with some fractions now. Same rule. Set yourself a 5-minute timer, have a go at these questions. Okay, well this one, if we add them together, okay, is going to give us 5 and 5/11ths. Okay, if we add the 2 and the 3 together, it gives us 5 wholes. 2 and 3 is 5, so 5/11ths. Now here we can add the 4 and the 8 together, okay, but what we need to do first is we have 2 denominators here that need to be changed, okay. So if we add the 4 and the 8 together, that's 12. Now we'd have to convert this one here, okay, so we could double this. So this would become 4 over 14, and therefore 4 add 3 gives us 7, okay. Here we've got to change the denominators. Okay, so we can change it to 9. So if we multiply that by 3, that's going to be multiplied by 3, so it's going to give us 6. Okay, so that's going to give us 13 over 9. Or we can simplify that and put it into a mixed number. So 9 goes into 13 once with a remainder of 4. So 1 and 4/9. Now here you might have had to have written down your 13 times tables to help you out with this, to work out how many holes there are. And the answer is 3. 3 lots of 13 is 39. Okay, so well done if you got those correct. These ones here are going to help us with our learning today. So let's have a look at this fraction, okay? I need to think to myself, well, what can I do first? Well, I notice that both my numerators are the same, so I don't have to change any fractions. Now, I could add 3 and 2/5 and then add 1 and 1/5, but I've already got 2 lots of whole numbers, so let's add the whole numbers together, okay? So if I have a look at it here, okay, this is my first fraction, so this is 3 wholes, okay? And I have my 3 wholes, and my 2/5. And here I have my 2 wholes and my 1/5. So if I add my whole ones together, okay, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because 2 add 3 is 5. Okay, so my whole one's going to be 5. Then I need to add is 2 and 1 together. Okay, so I've got my 2 and my 1, and that's going to give me 3/5. My answer is 5 and 3/5. Easy peasy. So pause the video and have a think. How are you going to work out the answers to these ones? And if you know, have a go. Okay, well, the first one, denominators are the same, so we just add our whole numbers together. It's going to be 9. 2 add 3 gives us 5, so it's going to be 9 and 5/7. This one over here, we've got different denominators, okay, so we need to make sure our denominators are the same. So 3 goes into 12 4 times, so 2 times 4 is 8. So we can now add our 1 and our 2 together, and that's going to give us 3, and then 8 add 1 is going to give us 9. So we've got 3 wholes and 9/12. Now, what do you notice about that fraction, 9/12? Okay, it could be divisible. So we always remember when we're simplifying, let's start with the smallest number. Can we simplify it by dividing it by 2? Well, no, we can't, because 9 is not an even number. So are they both then divisible by 3? Well, yes, they are. 3 goes into 9 3 times, and it goes into 12 4 times. Therefore, it's going to be 3/4. Now this one down here has also got different denominators. We need to match them. Now we could have multiplied this and moved up to 18, but equally because we had an even number here, we then could have divided this. So we could divide it by the 9, okay? So we made it smaller, okay? So if we now add those together, we've got 2 wholes and 2 wholes, that's 4 wholes, and then 4 add 2 is 6, so 4 and 6/9. Now can I simplify that answer? Yes, I can. Now I know it's not divisible by 2 because 9's an odd number, but I know it's divisible by 3. Okay, and it's the same as 4 and 2/3. Okay, so well done if you got those correct. So let's have a look at this one here. Okay, this is where it gets slightly trickier. Okay, so here we've got 1 whole and 2 sevenths, and here we've got 1 whole and 5 sevenths. So if we add our whole numbers together, okay, we've got 2. Okay, so we'll write 2. But then we've got 2 and 5 added together. Now 2 and 5 added together gives us 7. So now what do you notice? Good. We now no longer have a fraction of amount because we've made a whole bar of 7 sevenths. So that means that 7 sevenths is now another whole. So I'm going to have to add the whole number on. Now I can't write it as 7 over 7, okay, because that's a whole fraction. So we need to round our 2 up to our 3, okay? So on that basis, now that you've had a go at that, let's do a little bit more practicing. So pause the video and have a go at these sums. Well, the first one's easy enough. Okay, because our denominator is the same. So 2 add 4 is 6. But if I did 6 add 5, 6 add 5 gives me 11. So it's going to give me another whole one. Okay, so I can't have 11 elevenths, so I had to add that additional one. Now this one here, we needed to match our denominators. We need to think, well, how do we get from 6 to 18? Well, multiply by 3. So we're going to multiply this by 3. Okay, so if I now write this out, okay, you've got 1 whole and 3 wholes, so that's 4. But now if I think about it, 15 and 3 gives me 18. So that's a whole lot of 18s. So if I start with my 4 wholes, I've got to add another one. So that's going to be 5 wholes. Okay. Now this one here, okay, we could round this up or we could round this one down. Okay, so let's round it down. So we've got 1 whole and we've got 3 add 7. Okay, now 3 add 7 is 10. And my denominator is 10. So if I've got 10 over 10, I've got a whole. So that 1 whole there, add another one, is going to give us 2. Okay, so well done if you got those correct. If it's easier, what you can do is you could have written them out as you went along. So I could have written out, well, 1 add 3 was 4, and that gives me 18 over 18, and then simplified it, okay? So let's have a look at this one here. So we've got 2 3/4, add 2 3/4, okay? So here we have 2 3/4, 2 3/4. We need to think, well, we need to add them together now, okay? So I can see I've got 4 wholes, 1, 2, 3, 4. And here I've got 6 quarters. Okay, can I write 6/4? No, I can't. Well, I can because it's an improper fraction, but when we're using it as part of a mixed number, we need to exchange that. So we need to think, well, how many 4s can I get from 6? Well, I can get 1. So that extra 1 is going to be added to my whole number, and then I have 2 left over. Okay, so that's that additional whole now and the 2 left over. So I need to change my whole number to 5. I've got 2/4. But am I finished yet? No. What do I still need to be able to do? I can simplify. Are these both now divisible by 2? Yes, they are. How many 2's are in 2? 1. How many 2's are in 4? 2. So it's going to be the same as 5 and 1/2. Okay, so well done if you spotted that. Right, let's have a think about this one here. Okay, so we've got 2 3/4. Add 2 3/4 again. Okay, so we could do it in a different way, okay? So we can either add it so we've got the whole numbers and we add the fractions, or we can turn them into improper fractions like I said on the question before. So if we exchange this, we do 2 times 4, so remember you multiply the denominator, add the numerator. So 2 times 4 is 8, add 3 is 11. 2 times 4 is 8, add 3 is 11. Okay, now I don't need to add that one up again because they were exactly the same. So if I now add these together, it gives me 22 out of 4. So now I'm thinking, well, I've left this as an improper fraction. What do I now need to turn it back into? I need to turn it back into a mixed number. So this is where we do our division. What is 22 divided by 4? So how many 4s can I get into 22? So we get 4, 8, 10, 12. Sorry, 4, 8, 10. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. Well, I can't get 24 in there, okay? So far I've got 5 wholes. I've got 5 lots of 4, which is 20, okay? So when I've got 5 wholes altogether, and then from 20 to 22, I have 2 left over. So I have 2/4. Now we just did 2/4. Can I simplify 2/4? Yeah, what is 2/4 the same as? Good, a half. Okay, so that's another way that you could do it if that's easier for you. It's a little bit longer to do it that way, but it's a handy method to have if adding the whole numbers and the fractions together is a little bit more complicated. So remember, multiply by the denominator, add the numerator. Okay. So now that you know that, what I want you to do is I want you to try that method and see if it helps you, okay? So what I want you to do is I want you to pause the video, see if you can answer questions 1 and 2. Okay, so number 1 here, the answer is going to be 8 2/9, okay? So you could have done it where you did your 4, add your 3, which was 7, okay? Oh, you could have done it so that you had your 9 times 4 is 36. You could have added your 7. 9 times 3 added the 4, and you could have added them together and then simplified it. Now this one here, we have to change our denominator, okay, because they don't match, okay. So if we change it so it's now 20 over 5, okay, you could now turn those both into to improper fractions and add them together, and all together you're going to get a total of 9. Okay, now I can see that looking at the whole numbers, I've got 5 add 3, well that's going to be 8. And then if I've here got my 20, add my 9, okay, I've got 29 there, so I know that I've got some left over, okay? So I'm going to have 4 25ths left over, okay? Because 20 add 9 is 29, and that's bigger than 25, and I can only get one lot of 25 in there, okay? So I'm going to add that on, and then I've got my 4 left over. So well done if you got that one correct. Now, just to warm your brains up for the last little bit, pause the video and have a go at these questions. Okay, so number 1, okay, we have to simplify this one so we could divide it and make it smaller. Okay, we add the numbers and the whole numbers together, they're going to give us 9, okay. Number 2, our denominators are all the same, so we can just go ahead and add them all together. Now this one here, obviously, is a top heavy, it's an improper fraction. This is a mixed number, so you've got to convert them so that they're either improper fractions or mixed numbers. But whatever you did, your answer here, if we change it over to improper fractions, is going to be 5, okay. Number 3, again, we've got different denominators at the bottom, okay. Sorry, beg your pardon, I had to add that additional one on there for that one whole. So here we need to change our denominator, so let's round this up. So now I've got 5 and 10/15 and 2 and 1/15, okay? Add it all together, you're going to get 7 wholes, but you're going to have some extra left over and you'll have 11/15. And for your last one over here, we need to make sure that our denominators are the same, so we can actually make this smaller because they're both divisible by 2. Okay, and that gives us 4/11ths. Okay, so if we added our 5 and our 8 together, that's going to give us 12. So we've got 4 and 4 is 8. Add that extra whole one and we'll have the 1 left over. Okay, so it's 9 and 2/11ths. Okay, so well done if you got those all correct. I'm not going to give you another activity, but we will continue on with that concept tomorrow, where we'll then have a go at one of the worksheets. All right, well done, Year 5.